So we are less than 3 days before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness releases, and I mean, it's gonna be one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. The cameos, the action, the story in itself, and the whole impact on the MCU is gonna be so crazy. We all know that the multiverse is effed up, and SpiderMan No Way Home was not the sole reason why that happened. There are a couple of reasons, there are a couple of events that happened in the MCU recently that contributed to the multiverse, going into madness, if you will say that. So here are some of the recent events in the MCU that had a cause in breaking the multiverse and some of the effects it already had along the way. So let's just get right into it. So first of all, we saw Loki, we saw He Who Remains, who had established a single timeline just to keep his variants at bay because they wanted to conquer the whole freaking multiverse. They were going to cause disaster everywhere. Sylvie, with all her anger and traumatic past, didn't believe what Kang was saying because her whole life was about killing the one who was behind it all, the one who ripped her childhood, her world from her, and she killed him. And that's what even Kang wanted. He was not afraid, he just accepted it because he was gonna come back anyway. And that was just the start of the multiverse breaking. And I think that everything was happening simultaneously because before it happened, Kang noticed that something was going on, that it had already begun. And when Silver killed him, the timeline started branching more and more. The multiverse started to go into place. And it was that same episode that we saw the effects of the branching of the timeline. We saw that the statue in that building changed to Kang the Conqueror. So right after that, we had the What If show, which showed us different universes and a big battle at the end of the season to save the multiverse from Ultron. We saw the fight between Ultron and the Watcher going through different universes, kicking each other's ass, but mainly Ultron was kicking his ass. You know what I mean? But as Kevin Feige said, the What If show is very much canon to the MCU. We know that it had at least a little or contributed to some of the breaking of the multiverse as a whole. And then we stepped into Spider-Man No Way Home, which people thought was the sole reason why the multiverse got effed up, because some people forgot about what happened to Loki. But it was one of the main reasons why the multiverse started to go crazy, with Peter Parker messing up Doctor Strange's spell, which brought his villains from different universes and brought variants of himself into this MCU universe. And the fight broke out, and nearly at the end, everything was starting to rip apart the universe itself. The multiverse was opening up to bring in even more villains and more variants of him into this MCU universe, and he had to make a sacrifice to solve this issue.
So cast a new spell, but this time make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. Make everyone forget.
It was a very significant impact on the MCU. It even led to Tom Hardy's Venom coming into this universe and even leaving part of itself. And Morbius also did that stupid thing where Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, also went into that universe. All messed up things that Sony didn't even think about. But anyway, that also contributed very much to the breaking of the multiverse. And now we arrive at Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which also had in itself some crazy things that are going to happen, that are going to even break the multiverse even wider, with Wanda learning the Darkhold and trying to get America Chavez to open the doorway to different universe to get to her children. This is going to lead to a very big chase between Wanda, coming after America Chavez, Doctor Strange protecting her, then breaking and going to different universes. This is a whole mess in itself, and that is why the Illuminati captures him and America Chavez, to question them, to deal or punish them in some way as Mordor wanted to or wants to, because they are the protectors of the multiverse, and these people are just messing everything up. Anyway, these are all the events that are leading to the breaking of the multiverse and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is going to extend things even further. Anyway, I can't wait for this movie. I think the most important part of this movie is the impact it's going to have on the MCU. So the cameos are going to be crazy, going to be great, we're going to enjoy it. The continuation of the story of Wanda and Doctor Strange in this movie, and where they are also going to end up in the MCU, and possibly the next Avengers movie is going to happen. Who's going to lead the team? So let me know in the comments below what you think of this movie. How excited are you? The cameos. I even have a video where I've put out a list on the confirmed cameos and the possible ones that may also happen. So you can check that out. If you really enjoyed this video, subscribe and turn on that post notification bell, and leave a like for the video also. It helps the channel out. As always, Neddy Sage here. See you in the next video.